Morning talk show with Material Mom. What am I going to talk about? I don't know. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And so, hopefully, today I don't embarrass myself, blunder away, hurt people's feelings, and make a fool of myself. Those are the hopes I have every day when I come on to talk. All right. It's been a busy morning for me. So, like I say, you never know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning. And I got a call from Trevor, and it was, they needed help. So I had to run to town, go over to Chad's and help. And I'm praying that the rest of the day will go better. So I need to turn this off because everyone is just keeps talking to me. Why? It's just my family. I don't have friends that are doing it. So it's just my family wanting me to know how things are going and keep them updated and everything. So it's just about Chad. So pray for Chad. I had to go and bring him here and rescue him. It has to do with alcohol and drugs. Okay, I don't want to say anymore. It's his life and his business. It becomes my business, like we as parents. Little children, little problems. Big children, big problems. And when you're their little children, you have more control over them. And what happens when they're 50? Yes, I have a 50-year-old son. You cannot control them. You don't want them to live with you. And then you worry, and it's just horrible. But anyway, life will go on, and the sun is shining, and it's a beautiful day, and prayer works because I prayed, and he's sleeping. So let's just hope he stays asleep all day. Was the 4th of July that exciting? No, it wasn't. We ended up having, and I feel bad, on the 4th of July yesterday, which is tomorrow, that we'll show this. But first, I didn't invite anybody over, and I was not going to have a big barbecue because I thought all the families are doing their own thing. And so, usually I do have a big barbecue and stuff. Well, anyway, first, I don't even remember, but Hillary came over and with her family, but the water was so cold. It was like 50 degrees. They couldn't swim. I was going to film it, but nothing was happening. And the only person who swam was Macy. The cold water doesn't seem to bother her. And then Hillary had to use my oven because her oven broke, and she was right in the middle of needing to bake a crust for a blueberry tort. So she brought it over and baked it in my oven, and then they all left after an hour or so. Then, which I'll have to say, Credence came hungry as usual and ate cookies and chips and salt, anything he could find, Otter Pops. So he left happy. Anyway, they're funny. Then, who else? What was next? Then Autumn called and said, Grandma, can we come over and use your house? Because we got all this food and the parks are full. We don't want to drive clear up to Grover Park and, all the... I said, yes, of course. So then her whole family came over, all of Chad's kids and the siblings, and even Chad's ex-wife came, which, I don't have a problem with it. But anyway, they didn't really come in the house. They just cooked on the barbecue, and it was too cold for them to swim too, so they lit off some fireworks in the driveway, and so that went fine. And then they left about when it was getting dark, and so we sat in our bed, and right out here on the driveway, the neighbors were letting off fireworks. We had a private show from our bed. It felt like it was going to come in our bedroom. It was so close. But I'm sure we were safe. So anyway, that was our 4th of July thrill. Glad it's over. Sometimes holidays are more trouble than they're worth. The big build up, and you think it's going to be so fun, or you think you should be doing something special, or you think you deserve something because it's a holiday, but it's not. It's just really a regular old day. So, and sometimes I watch Haulin' It with Mima. Is that it? It was her birthday. And she was having a miserable day because it was her birthday, but nothing really was going on. That's what happens when you get old. You have great expectations, but nothing happens like when you were young. But if I could talk to her, I would just tell her, don't be fretting about your birthday, because the alternative is not that great. Because what's the alternative of having a birthday? Death. Do you want to be dead, or do you want to go through another birthday? It's fine. This too shall pass. You'll feel better. Okay, I have some thank yous and some announcements. Announcement winner for the next week's couch tissue cover that I've made. All right. Had a hard time getting that out. Okay. I decided this week I was going to give to the two families that have illnesses, and they're trying to get better, and they're trying to get over their ailments. I don't want to get into what they have. Maybe they don't want people to know. So I sent one to the Guzman family, and I'm sending one to Mary Jones because she had surgery. So I hope that will cheer them up next week. I sent out two special because it was a holiday. No, not because of the holiday, because two people reached out that had a sickness. So, and then a special lady named Cheryl Ball sent me a gift, and I still can't believe it. And why, I don't know. It's not my birthday. It's not Christmas. She sent me a $50 Amazon gift card. That was so nice of her. She just said because she appreciated me or something. I don't know, but, nobody ever has sent me, $50 before. My brother on my birthday. But anyway, I want to give a special thank you to her. And guess what I bought? You guys are going to love it. When Hillary was over, she had these wonderful, comfortable looking sandals on. And I said, Hillary, what are those? Are they good, And she goes, these are Dr. Scholl's, and they are the most comfortable sandals ever. You can walk all day in them. I can walk all day in them, and they don't even, the clock right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can walk all day in them, and they don't even hurt my feet, and they're so comfortable, and, memory foam in them and stuff. So I went online last night, and I found a pair. And she told me they're like $50, but I got them for a little less. But I ordered a pair of those comfy walking shoe sandals for my cruise. So I felt selfish spending it all on me. There's a few dollars left over, but thank you, Cheryl Ball. And when I get them, I'm going to model them and show them to everybody. And then Fitville, a shoe company for wide foot people, wide toes and stuff, contacted me if I wanted to do another review with them and I could get more shoes. I don't want any more shoes from them, and frankly, the toes are too wide for my foot. But Jamie has that problem. So I'm going to ask him if we could get them for Jamie, because, he's on my channel too, and then he could tell us about them and wear them, because he's the one who really needs them. And his foot has problems with the neuropathy, numbing, and foot problems. So he would really be a better candidate model for the Fitville shoes. So I'm going to see if they will let him. That would be an answer to a prayer, because you know how his shoes, he's wearing Temu rubber plastic shoes for $5, and he wears them out and has problems and everything. And they have the slip-ons, because he likes the slip-ons, because he can't bend over and tie his shoes. All right, next I wanted to talk about, this was a little card they gave me for Mother's Day, because I always tell them, do not waste money on a card. That is silly to pay a lot of money for a card. Just get a piece of paper, fold it in two, and write in it. And that's what they did for Mother's Day, Trevor's family. So it's part of a joke. I'm going to save it because they write nice things. I should read what they write. Should I? Does that mean? Let's see. London, happy Mother's Day, Grandma. You are the best. Thank you for all you have done. The treehouse was really cool. Thanks for inviting us, because I took them all up there. All right. Whoever wrote this one crossed their name out. I don't know. Brooklyn. Okay. Happy Mother's Day, Grandma. You are the best grandma ever. Thank you for all you have done for me and all the great memories we have made. I love you so much, Brooklyn. Brinley, happy Mother's Day, Grandma. You are the best. I love when you teach me stuff that I don't know. And I love being in your videos and watching them too, Brindley. Cute. Grant, happy Mother's Day, Grandma. You are the perfect example of how a mother should be and raise your kids well. Thanks for making me laugh and letting me come over to your house, Grant. And Parker, happy Mother's Day, Grandma. I hope you have a wonderful day. You deserve it. But Connor and Kinsey didn't get to write because they weren't there. So I put it in my scrapbook, but I put some notes on the back because didn't have any paper. Okay, all of this political stuff, and I had comments, how some people hate Trump, some people hate Biden, and everybody, has those same regards of what they hate about both. He's a felon. He's Alzheimer's. We know it all. We're not stupid. We see it all. So I got to thinking, what is it that people want? Really, as mothers, grandmothers, I can speak for us. I'm going to speak for all of us. We basically want the same things out of life and out of our leaders, right? First of all, I made a little list here. First of all, we want our children to grow up and be educated, taught, and be happy and safe. Isn't that what all mothers want, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican? We all want that, unless you're one of those weirdo wackos that like to hurt people. We aren't that if we're watching this, okay? We want them to be that. We want them to be loved and have happiness. We want to be loved. We want to have happiness, calmness, serenity, and peace, don't we? Who wants a big fight or a big drama or a war or anything? We mothers don't want that. One time I heard this. If it was up to the mothers to decide if we should go to war and send our sons to war, war probably wouldn't happen. Isn't that true? We don't want our loved ones, our children and our grandchildren to go to war. We want everything to be peaceful. Okay, we want satisfying work. We want people to have jobs they like. We want our children, our husbands, our spouses, all of it, to have good jobs that they can make good money, to support their family and have a satisfying life, just like we want them to have a good jobs and not have to be on welfare or live off the government or look for freebies. We want them to be able to work and have satisfying work to make money, to support themselves. Now, I was thinking of this because I was reading about what Democrats believe and what Republicans believe. And one party said that they believed in high taxes so that the government has money to help those in need. And the other one says they want to be self-sufficient. Well, I've always wanted to be the type that's self-sufficient. Like I buy plenty of toilet paper and food to have on hand. And so if something happens, I don't have to be, in need or look for someone to help me. I want to help myself, which I would think that's what most people want. I looked at was it Hurricane Katrina or something that happened, and everybody went to that in New Orleans to the big dome, waiting for the government to help them and bring them stuff and everything. And I'm like, I wouldn't go there. I would start trekking out of the flood zone or the hurricane and go find and help myself and go eat cattails. And, there's things out there that are always there, berries. And of course, Jamie's a good person to be with when that happens because he knows it all. But there's no way I would go to a big auditorium place and be with all those people that stink and cough and snore and stink and ugh. I can't think of anything more miserable. Sleep and cots. Have you ever slept on a cot before? I did, thinking this is going to be a cozy bed. I got rid of them after one night. I sold them because cots are like a floor on legs. That fabric's so tight on them that they are the hardest things ever. And I just would not want to go there. I would rather go out and hike to some higher ground or somewhere that would be dry and, camp. Make my own little camp is what I would do. And I don't want to rely on the government or people to help me. Now, I was on food stamps for years, don't get me wrong, HUD housing, and I appreciated it. But I was a single mom, and the deadbeat dad maybe wasn't, paying child support or whatever. So I realized there's all of those circumstances that is needed to have a welfare of some type, a welfare system. And I have belonged to a church that has a welfare system that helps people. But they also sometimes, I noticed, they want help in return. Like, we will give you a food order, but we want you to come and clean out the refrigerator at the church. They want you to pay something back in, barter system. So I think welfare system could run better than it is. What else do people want? We want our freedoms. Do you want government telling you what to do and what you can do and what you can't do? I said before how my brother went to Thailand, and those people didn't have any freedoms to choose what religion, to join churches. Like, it was in China or something, it's against the law to preach any religion and have a meeting. They could only teach English. They couldn't proselyte or teach Christ anyway, any way or form. And so we want our freedoms. We want to be able to say what we want. We want to be able to have our religious freedom, educational freedom. We all want that. The Constitution, people, the guns. People want to own guns. Some people hate guns. We want our freedom. Okay, if you hate guns, then don't buy any, don't have any. There needs to be, safety laws that protect us. Mental illness is usually the reason why the guns are abused, and safety in the schools and everything is abused because of mental issues, not because the gun isn't the killer, it's the person behind the gun. We've all heard that. If they don't have guns, then they'll have knives or something else. So, it's the mental illness of the people. And so I agree, guns need to have safety. We want to be safe in our homes. Isn't that the main thing in life that we all want as mothers and grandmothers and people living in a home? We want safety. I want to go to bed at night and know I'm safe. I want my children to go to a parade, to know a car's not going to run them over. Mental issues right back there. So, but basically people want the same things. Our needs are shelter, food, and water, and what is it? Those are what everyone needs to survive. But we all have these wants, constitutional wants, in a country that's free, safe. We have enough money to pay our bills, to live. People they say, "What's the first thing you want in life?" And people will say, "Money. I want more money." Oh, and then you watch those shows, those people who win the lottery, or they, come into money, and then how it ruins their life. So, money, a lot of money is not always the answer, because necessity is the mother of invention. So people learn a lot when you're poor. You learn to be more compassionate, more, serve others, and you learn lessons when you're poor. So it's good. You get humbled if you lose all your money and you were once rich. Now, see, here's a story. I think I need to blow my nose. I don't have a tissue. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, it's a new box. See? Everybody needs one. Excuse me. You're supposed to do that before you start talking. Okay, I have allergies. No, I don't. I never had any allergies in all my whole life, so I'm lucky. And none of my children do. I think it's a hereditary thing. All right, so here's a story for you. My husband I was married to for my daughters, he was 15 years older than me. Well, his family came from the San Joaquin Valley, and they came across the plains probably, and they did that homesteading. Like, you could get so many acres per person, and you homesteaded it for years and proved it profitable, and that's how you got to own the land. Well, they came and ended up in California in the San Joaquin Valley. I don't know what year it was, but there was a mom and dad, and they had a lot of children they brought, and so the children all got the homestead property too. So they had a whole bunch of acreage that they got from that homestead laws. So my husband's parents, they couldn't have any children, and so they adopted Foster. He remembers, he was 2 years old, and he remembers them coming to the orphanage, and he remembers seeing them and them taking him away. So it must have had an impact on his mind, because usually 2-year-olds don't remember much unless it was something very impactful, or, they usually remember the bad things or the good things, nothing normal. So he got adopted by these wonderful people who owned all this property. His dad was a banker and the mother was a school teacher, and they adopted him. He had a sister, they told him, but they didn't adopt her. She was older. I don't know what happened to her. Nowadays, you could probably find everything out, and the DNA testing, ancestry, if he was alive. Now, my daughter has done the DNA testing, and then what came up was Foster's other children and their children, which I already knew about them, basically. So nobody else, the adoptive side, has not come out yet in that ancestry. Anyway, well, when his mother died, she died with cancer, and so then his father and his grandmother were raising him. And then the grandmother died. Everybody he loved died, in other words. His grandmother died then after his mother, and then his dad sent him to military school, which military school, I'm sorry to say, has no love. They do not raise children with love. They raise children with rules. And you should not raise your children military style unless they're so wayward bad that they need an alpha boss in charge of the child. Then they should go, because every child needs to know that they are not the alpha of the family, and they are not the alpha boss of themselves. They have parents who are the bosses. So I had to remind some of my children who's the boss a lot of times. But I did it with love. Military doesn't do it with love. And they put the oldest person in charge, who is the military, like captain, whatever he is, in charge of the younger ones. And if they don't all do wrong, everyone gets in trouble. Everyone has to do sit-ups. Everyone, those military rules. That's not the way to raise children. Children should learn that they are responsible for their own mistakes and not for everybody's mistakes. You should only be punished. So he was not a very good father, because he would put Chad in charge of all of them. Well, if they messed up, then Chad, they all got in trouble, and they all were punished and had to go to the room, and it was just wrong. You got to raise children with love and discipline, but with love. Okay, back to Foster inheriting his dad. When his dad died, well, then the father gave his sister all of the money in the bank, in his will, and he gave Foster all of the land, because it came from the mother's side. And the mother's aunts and uncles, they had like 16 children, and a whole bunch died before in diphtheria or something. So the remaining ones were the ones who got the land and stuff. So all of those aunts that never married, they, in their wills, gave the land to his mother. So when his mother died, then he got all of the land. Well, he knew his whole life he was just going to inherit the land. He didn't go to college. I'm just going to get all of these thousands of acres from the San Joaquin Valley. And I guess they leased it out to tomato growers, and they grew tomatoes on this property, and they got money then from their land from that. Are you following the story? I'm kind of jumping around. Okay. So when his father died, he inherited the land down there. And so it was worth millions. Well, because he didn't want to wait for the tomato leased land money, he started selling off the land because, you know, he's young, 30. I don't know how old he was, probably younger than that. He wanted, in one video, I'm doing this the whole time. Oh, that's annoying. That's like Jamie. He likes to take the remote and go like this in bed. Stop it. Because the bed, it shakes the whole bed. People do things like that, annoy you. I'm going to try not to be that person. I won't hold anything. All right, so he started selling the land and getting money and buying an airplane, buying a sound system, buying Cadillacs, buying, you know, all the crap that you think you want when you're young, showing off, going to bars and buying alcohol for the whole place, you know, stupid stuff. He did do some good stuff. I heard that this one person had really bad dental and he paid for the guy to get all his dental work done, you know, which was sad because in Foster's later years, he needed dentures and he couldn't afford them. So then one by one, his teeth came out and then he couldn't even afford his own dental work. So it was really sad, but he managed the money horribly. And by the time he married me, he had a house. He had two houses he was paying on or owned, and the boat, which he sold the boat. Then he got it back and it was a commercial fishing boat. He sold the house, and then he had the other house. They made payments to him, and that's what he lived off of until he went to jail for DUIs so many times that the attorney owned the house then and Foster didn't. And then he lived off basically me because I had my stuff, my money, but I wouldn't give him my children's money, my Social Security money and stuff. No, you didn't get that because that's for their upbringing and their raising, not for you to get drunk and to have. So he did fishing then, but once a year he made money. But it was so sad because his whole life, he had every opportunity to go to college, to make it a life for himself. But what happened? He knew he was going to inherit that money, and so he sat on his bum and waited for that. And then he had no skills, nothing. Do not let your children know they're going to inherit anything. That is the worst thing you can do for them. You know, they need to know that, you know, no, you're not getting anything probably. You know, you're going to get my glasses and my clothes. So you better make sure you are making it yourself in life. That's how we need to teach the children. Do not raise them to be entitled, thinking, oh, I'm going to get what daddy has. Now, my brother, he has, you know, he's an attorney. He's made good money in life and he has good stuff. But he always told his children, nope, spending all my money. They're all bankers and educated people themselves making their own money. And he said, you know, I said something like, oh, well, they're rich. That family's rich. And he would always say, the daddy's rich, the kids aren't rich. And that's true. You know, the daddy might have money, but that doesn't mean the kids are going to be rich in their life. So it's my firm belief. Tell your kids they're not inheriting anything. Get a bumper sticker that says, I'm spending my children's inheritance. Then if they do get something, they will be happy, prepared, and surprised. They will not be entitled thinking, I'm getting daddy's stuff. Okay, that's just what I've learned in life because I've lived it. I saw Foster just, you know, his whole life was wasted. He just partied on the money because he never did have a career. He's waiting for daddy's money. That was an extreme. You know, I think some people, like those rich people, they send their kids to the rich colleges and they do have professions. But this is like middle class people. Well, Marie Osmond, she's big for that. My kids aren't getting anything. So, do not raise entitled children. Okay. All right. I'm just sharing some of my wisdom. What people want, what we mothers want in life, whether you're Democrat or Republican. So we need to come back to my original message for today. We need to come together in realizing we basically have all the same wants in life. We don't need to be enemies because I'm this and you're that. Okay, then I can't support you and I can't like you because you believe that. No, we believe the same thing. We want love. We want happiness. We want enough money to live by. We want our children to grow and be, we basically all want the same thing. And that's what the Constitution is for, is to unite everybody wanting the same thing. It doesn't, when you get into what each party believes, that is like personal stuff. And so that shouldn't separate us, because the main things, everybody wants the same thing. The personal stuff is if you believe in abortion, if you believe in, well, I could look it up, but I just don't even want to get into it. But what each party believes in, you can look it up and read it. It's online, and they'll tell you what their issues are and what each believe in, immigration or not. And most of the things don't affect us unless it touches our lives. Like me, gas is so much, I can't go in my RV because I can't afford the trip. That's touching me in my life. So then I'm going to believe one way. So it even said on the internet, how you were grown, how you were raised, and the part of the country you lived in governs what your issues are, what your issues are about. If you have ancestors that immigrated, if you are, from that heritage and from that, then you want them to be able to come over and, get into this free country, but you want it legally. I think we all agree we want good people coming. We don't want criminals or I'm not supposed to say that word. We don't want criminals and abusive people to come into our country. We want good people. So that's something we can agree on. We want to know who's in our country. We don't want so many people that the other Americans, the veterans, suffer. Can't we all agree on that? So it's just like religion. We can still be friends. I can still be friends with Catholics, even though that's not my religion. Well, it should be the same with the political thing. We could still unite and be friends and unite as people and not be fighting. And, I think all of us, no matter what political person you are, we all feel sorry for Biden, that he might be failing. We do not want somebody to run our country that maybe has dementia, right? Because, they hold a lot of keys. We all agree on that. We want somebody that can lead our country, with a what's the word? Upstanding, a strong constitution. We want them to lead in our country, not somebody who doesn't know what they're doing or know who they are. And we're all saddened to see any old person get dementia. That saddens us. We don't hate. We just feel so sad and we're scared. So I think we could all agree on that. And, we want somebody that I heard Dr. Laura Schwarzenegger. I don't know how you say her name. Schwarzenegger. I don't even know how to spell it, so I can't even say it. And I wanted to listen to her. I just know her as Dr. Laura, but there's two Dr. Lauras. The Dr. Laura that's the other kind of doctor. And then there's Dr. Laura, who's the therapist, counselor person. But she even said, I used to listen to her all the time. She said the country needs to be run by an alpha man or woman who has the ability to be strong and in charge and the boss. You don't need a namby-pamby. You don't need a good guy kind of guy, because he's going to be too kind-hearted and too wishy-washy kindness. You need an alpha that will stand up to other countries, the NATO, whatever you believe in, and they'll stand up for it. And then they won't dare attack us because they know we're strong. So, okay, so let's just hope that we can unite in these ways and realize that we all want the same thing. Okay, I'm going to end now because that's my morning talk show for today. And let's hope. I do have a Temu. I know people love Temu. I have an order. Whether it's a good one, I know this time I won't let Credence and Macy help because they're too entertaining. You don't know I don't know what's going to come out of my voice. I don't know what's going to come out of theirs. And of course, Macy, she's always the mild, soft spoken girl. But Credence, he doesn't have that problem. And so he can say what he thinks, and you know who he's going to vote for. I asked him, "Where's your gold coin?" "Oh no, it's in my pocket. It's going through the wash." I said, "Hopefully it'll be gold when it comes out of the wash." I knew he would do that with it. Anyway, it's only 84 cents. So you can get them for 84 cents now. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye now. So people, this is the end.